Hello everyone, Mike from Milestone 20. Today we're going to go over the homebrew creation of another Travelers of the Multiverse race, which is part of the UA. Pushing these videos out because Spelljammer Academy dropped today on D&D Beyond. So I've had these races created in homebrew for a little bit and felt like I should share so that way everybody can have access and go play the Spelljammer Academy adventures. So this video in particular, I'll be going over the Hadozee. I've previously gone over the Astral Elf, Autognome, and Giff, however you prefer. So let's jump into it. One thing to note is I will have a campaign link in the description of the video, and feel free to join it, and you can take advantage of the homebrew. You could just create a character with one of the homebrew races and then leave the campaign. Feel free to stay in the campaign if you like. If you stay in, you could take advantage of the links I'll have for each race to add to your own homebrew. One thing to note, that if you do leave the campaign, you will lose access to the homebrew. So, and I apologize, but I am not able to publish this. This is Wizards of the Coast, D&D Beyond's content. And because of that, D&D Beyond, you shouldn't publish things that aren't your content on D&D Beyond. So the only way to share with everyone is for you to join the campaign, create your character, and then you can go from there. So I will go through and show you how I've created the races, so you can take a look at it. And then we'll go over a character at the end. So for this video, we will go over the Hadozee. So in the UA here, there's the Hadozee. They are a highly adaptive simian being who uses wing-like membranes to glide. So this section here in the UA basically covers the section for the generic character creation features. That means ability score increases, and all of these base features are from the Monsters of the Multiverse or Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Basically, for ability score increases, you get to increase. There's two different ways you can do it. First way, you can increase 3 different scores by 1. The second way is you can increase 1 score by 2 and another score by 1. Basically, it gives you a net bonus of 3 points to your ability scores. Okay, so languages, you can read, write, common, and choose one other language. Creature type, this gets into the type of creature that you are, whether you're, for example, the Autognome was a construct. Most of the ones we're going to go over today are humanoid. Lifespan is completely based on the race. Height and weight based on the race. So unless they call them out, you're just going to go with like some generic stats for lifespan is about 100 years lifespan. Height and weight, there's a table in the player's handbook you can cross-reference for something that fits closely. So let's jump into the Hadozee here. So scroll down, and okay, Hadozee does not wrap around. It doesn't look like here. Okay, so we've just got some basic stuff here. So I'm going to go ahead and go over this, what it looks like in D&D Beyond. Again, we have some text here with some background of what the Hadozee is, and I've created that here. This is that generic creating your character section that I mentioned. And now we have the Hadozee traits. So you are a humanoid. Your size is medium or small, and you choose the size when you select this race. Now I will say this is a bit tricky when creating the homebrew. If you're just creating it straight blank slate trying to get this, you're not gonna get the ability to choose that. That has to be created by cloning a race that has that feature. And the one I can call out that does have that is the Heron God. Okay, so size, we've got speed is 30, and you have a climbing speed equal to your walking speed. Dexterous feet, you can take the use an object action as a bonus action. And glide. While you're not incapacitated or wearing heavy armor, you can extend your skin membranes and glide. When you do so, you can perform the following aerial maneuvers. And you've got a couple bullet items here. When you fall, you can move up to 5 feet horizontally for every 1 foot you descend. And when you would take damage from a fall, you can use your reaction to reduce the fall's damage to 0. So let's go ahead, close that, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the build for the Hadozee. Again, here's where that basic information come in, where name, I versioned it as 1.0, size, medium or small. This is something you can choose here. It's the feature, the mechanics in the feature later on that I'll show you that's a little more tricky. You can't get to unless you clone. So walking speed of 30, climbing speed of 30. And we have that whole big description that I gave you as far as like the initial Hadozee description, but then the creating your character description. Okay. So let's get into the traits. So first off, we've got the ability score increases. Covered this in previous videos, but we'll cover it really quick. You have 2 options in here, increasing by 2 and by 1, or the other option of increasing 3 different scores by 1, and we have the text to back that up. In the options here, you'll see the option, we just increase it by 1. And then in here in the modifiers, we basically choose one to bump by 1 across all 3 of them. So it's very simple. Modifier type is bonus. Choose an ability score to increase by 1, and that's the same for all 3 of those. The difference is in this option, where you jump into increase one of these by 2 and a different by 1, and we go into the modifiers and see we've got a bonus, choose an ability score to increase by 2, and the other one is what we've already covered, is to choose one to increase by 1. Okay, so now we're done with ability score increases. We'll go into languages. Languages, again, very simple text. And option in here is we set the common language, and we get to choose a language. So if we want to take a look at what those look like, modifier type is language, and you set it to common. Modifier type is language, and we set it to choose a language. Okay. Now we can get into the more specifics of the Hadozee. So we'll get into creature type, and they're humanoid. So it's very simple. There's nothing mechanically here to change. It's just text. Size. This one, again, this is where we get into this piece here that was cloned. You can choose medium or small when you choose the race. When we look at the modifier, you can see size, choose a race. Now here's the problem. You don't get an option for choosing a character size if you're building from scratch. That option in this list doesn't exist. As I've shown before, this list only has tiny to gargantuan before. So unless you're cloning it from a previously built race that has this choosing a character size option, you don't get that option in this list. And so that's the problem with trying to create this from scratch, is you wouldn't be able to get the medium or small option. So okay. Okay, so there's our size, speed. Let's take a look at the speed, because we will have a mechanical piece we've added here. Size, your medium or small. You choose the size when you... Wait. There we go, speed. Your walking speed's 30, and you have a climbing speed equal to your walking speed. And again, the mechanical piece of this was earlier in that big description. Up here, you would set the speed, the walking speed to 30 and the climbing speed to 30. So in the actual feature that we call out here, there's no modifiers or anything to change. It's just text. Dexterous feet. I believe this is all text-based. The only thing I did is I added the use an object for the action tags to code this so that you could highlight over and see what use an object is on both of these. So there's really nothing mechanically to change here. Glide. Again, glide is another just basically text-based things. There's nothing really mechanical in here. Got the snippet and the description basically saying the same thing, and there's no modifiers or anything, so it's all just text-based. So that covers all of our Hadozee traits. Let's go ahead and build a Hadozee character. So I'm looking at my pre-made characters here. We'll go ahead and edit this one. And we'll make sure that homebrew content is turned on. For race, we are going to scroll down to the Hadozee, and again the ability score increase, language, your humanoid, your medium or small, your speed is 30 and you have a climbing speed, dexterous feet, and glide. So we'll go ahead and choose the race. Con and Dex. Sure. Language. Hadozee is another one I don't really have one immediately to go with, so just for the heck of it, let's go with Giff. And here's where we get the choose your size. So I can choose medium or small. Now, mechanically, it doesn't change anything. You know, this is still more just flavor side items. Medium and small creatures still basically occupy a 5-foot space. Tiny would be smaller, but I mean, there's some advantages of being small with things like the gnome or the goblins are small, or halflings. They get benefits there. For these races, it's not really calling out anything specifically benefiting for medium or small. So there'll be like carrying capacity might be a little different. But anyway, so you're basically the same. It's really more flavor based. So anyway, you can choose that. We're going to go ahead and choose small. And we can expand these out if you want. These are the more the Hadozee ones, these bottom two. We'll go pick a class, and as before, I'm just picking a fighter and not filling out the fighter because we want to see how the race applies directly to the character sheet. I don't want anything muddying up the water here, so we're going to not pick anything for fighter. And from here you can pick your Hadozee. Ability score increases as well. I'm going to do what we've been doing in the past of basically commoner stats. Description, you can choose the language here again if you want, or in the other screen, the race screen. We'll go ahead and create the character. So immediately here we can look to see the language was from Hadozee. There are no skill benefits, there are no defenses or anything like that. So we'll jump into the racial traits. And again, this is very much all the special Hadozee things were very simple. So we chose the 2 scores for the ability score increase. We chose Giff. Size is small. Your walking speed, dexterous feet, and even though we did the code, it shows when we look at the sheet. Yeah, when we take a look, it shows the use an object piece here, the link for it, but it doesn't show it in the character sheet. So, yeah. Okay, dexterous feet. It was just basically text. I had that little code for there. And glide. There's really nothing mechanical in there. It's really just, as you're playing, you have those options. The one mechanical thing that we have here is that we have both a walking speed of 30 and a climbing speed of 30. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. I'll go ahead and pop this out to show you the full sheet here. But yeah, they're not too difficult mechanically to build. And that's pretty much it for the Hadozee. So if you have any comments, please feel free to leave them. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a like. If you want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe and check the bell, and as I release new content, you'll be notified. Anyway, thank you and have a great day.